What are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about addiction and recovery?
Some of the biggest misconceptions of addiction is the disease model that you are born with it and there's nothing you can do to overcome it. And it's kind of like you're a victim of it. Now, there's been a lot of studies that support it. There's been a lot of studies that actually debunk it. There's this wonderful book I remember reading a long time ago. It was made in the 70s, but it's called Lying by Statistics. And it's actually how they can take studies and argue both sides manipulating the statistics that the data for their own side. So the reason why I say this is because there's a wonderful book called The Biology of Belief by Dr. Bruce Lipton. And he comes in to say, okay, what is it? Is it nature or nurture? Because that's the time-old question. So there are some genetic parts, and I'm going to kind of speak just a bit more opinion from what I've seen doing this for multiple decades, working with thousands of individuals. I've seen both. Now, I've seen genetic dispositions that allows a person to maybe go off a little bit more in a certain direction or be more intrigued by certain behaviors or emotions. But here's a beautiful thing about recovery. Even those with this genetic part, they say nurture is even more powerful than nature, more powerful than genetics. So this is what gives us hope in recovery is whether you're born with it or it's a progressive disease, it gets worse and worse through coming over here and looking at environment, daily disciplines, the actual work that we're doing, the growth work. This is how we're able to heal and grow and eventually go on to live the most amazing lives. So I know it's kind of a politically correct answer of like, well, both are right. My main thing that I want the viewers to take away from this is if I'm using either one as a crutch or an excuse, I want to go to the other side and look at that to remove myself from the victim mindset and start moving towards kind of the pursuer or the actual doer to overcome.
How does addiction affect the brain, and why is it so difficult to break the cycle?
Well, first and foremost, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a neuroscientist. So there's so many people that, that dwarf me that actually are neuroscientists and doctors and can go into that. From what I've seen and just kind of dumbed down to a way that I would understand is the way it affects the brain is it hijacks certain parts that continue to release the feel-good chemical. So think of it this way. If I found a way to numb the pain, so the way that we act as human beings is we do whatever we can to avoid pain while we're seeking pleasure. Different stimuluses or different addictive drugs or alcohol, what they do is they actually numb the pain. So right away the brain goes, oh, when I engage in this, I don't feel the pain and it's pleasurable. So when you do that enough times, you actually condition the brain. I don't ever have to deal with pain. I can continue to deal with this pleasure. That's the actual, I'll say, chemical part that we've seen that gets so difficult to create enough of a gap or a space to start doing the work. The reason why this is important is because if I continually condition sedating to pain, it's how the brain says, anytime there's pain or discomfort, this is what we're gonna do. It's like play Monopoly and you roll, go to jail. It's like you do not pass go, you do not collect $200, you go straight to jail. The brain says, we're not gonna do anything else other than give me this because this is what I, does that kind of make sense?